Dodge journey.
We're tracking breaking news tonight. One of Lexington's biggest employers is being sold to a group of Chinese investors.
It's Bevin versus the Beshears. Why Governor Matt Bevin is accusing the administration before him of some illegal activities.
Richmond police handed out more than 100 citations at a college bar early Saturday morning. Coming up, I'll tell you why.
The Fox 56 10 o'clock news starts now.
We begin with breaking news tonight. One of Lexington's biggest employers is being sold to a group of Chinese investors. Lexmark confirms it will be acquired by a group led by China-based Apex Technology in a cash deal worth $3.6 billion.
According to a news release, Apex manufactures cartridges for both inkjet and laser printers and is looking to expand into a multinational company. Mayor Jim Gray's office released a statement tonight saying the company will keep its corporate headquarters in Lexington and does not expect to make significant changes in employment. About 2,200 people work at Lexmark headquarters, although 143 recently received layoff notices. The mayor says Lexmark and IBM before them have been valued members of our corporate community for many years. I look forward to a productive, positive relationship between Lexington and Apex Technology. The merger is expected to happen later this year.
You can call it a war brewing between two administrations today. Governor Matt Bevin announced his office has uncovered greed and corruption in former Governor Steve Beshear's administration. The governor says he will hire a private law firm to investigate. Beshear calls the accusations a pathetic spectacle. Victor Puente is in Frankfort with more on Governor Bevin's accusations.
Holding a press conference this morning, Bevin announced an investigation that will be overseen by the Secretary of the state's Finance and Administration Cabinet. Bevin said the investigation is needed because of evidence of irregularities his administration found since he's been in office.
I understand that the FBI may also be looking into matters related to these issues, but the FBI is investigating potential violations of federal law. The people of Kentucky also deserve to know exactly whether or not there have been any violations of Kentucky law.
The biggest of those is the claim that under the Beshear administration, state employees were coerced into donating money to Democratic candidates and campaigns, including the campaign of Andy Beshear, the Attorney General.
We've seen enough at this point to know that this is a serious problem. I am asking Attorney General Andy Beshear to return these thousands and thousands of dollars of questionable contributions if he has not already done so.
Bevin also claims a no-bid contract for $3 million awarded to a North Carolina company on the last day Beshear was in office benefited the husband of Beshear's Secretary of the Cabinet, who was a consultant for that company. Bevin said the investigation into each of those claims will be made as public as the law will allow.
A thorough, independent investigation like this can expose and cast light upon prior unsavory and perhaps illegal practices. But it can also provide the public with the desired degree of confidence in a fair and transparent government that was so glaringly absent in the prior administration.
Victor Puente for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Former Governor Beshear fired back this afternoon, saying these accusations are Governor Bevin's way of distracting Kentuckians from his own problems. And Beshear's son, Attorney General Andy Beshear, says the governor shouldn't be hiring investigators.
And this is not any Bevin versus Beshear. It's about the law.
Attorney General Beshear has been adamant his lawsuit is not politically motivated.
It's not Bevin versus Beshear. It's not even about pensions versus higher education. It's about the law.
But the battle, intentional or not, between Bevin and the Beshears has now escalated. In a statement, Attorney General Beshear says he's answered, quote, any and every question regarding Mr. Longmire. United States Attorney Kerry Harvey has definitively stated to the public and the press that there was no involvement by me or my office. The sworn affidavit in that case also found there was no knowledge by any campaign related to any contributions. Former Governor Steve Beshear calls the accusations a, quote, pathetic spectacle. He adds, at some point, Matt Bevin has to realize there is a time to campaign and a time to govern. There was never any attempt to pressure employees to make political contributions, and we followed both the spirit and the letter of procurement laws. Kentuckians deserve better.
Garrett Weimer, the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Attorney General Andy Beshear also says in his statement he agrees no bid contract should be carefully scrutinized, but it should be done by the Independent Ethics Commission, not a cabinet that answers to the governor. Today's announcement comes just 2 days before a hearing in Attorney General Beshear's lawsuit against Governor Bevin over mid-year cuts to higher education. Last week, a judge pushed the hearing back a week.
These allegations come as the former head of the state personnel cabinet under former Governor Beshear admits to taking kickbacks. Tim Longmire pled guilty to bribery this afternoon. Hillary Thornton was in the courtroom and has the latest on the charges.
United States attorneys say the guilty plea by the former state official inside of federal court is the result of a meticulous and superb investigation by the FBI.
I think it was apparent to Mr. Longmire that he needed to admit his guilt.
Tim Longmire pleading guilty to a federal bribery charge, admitting he both solicited and accepted more than $200,000 worth of kickbacks from a consultant during his time as the head of the state's personnel cabinet, at which time he oversaw the health plan for state employees, using that role to then persuade Anthem and Humana to hire the consultant he was working with.
Kentuckians deserve an honest government.
After today's court appearance, Longmire's attorneys said the former head of the state's personnel cabinet entered this guilty plea because he simply wanted to take responsibility for his actions.
Actions that include kickbacks of $175,000 in cash and $6,000 for illegal political contributions.
Has not revealed any evidence that the candidates that received these contributions had knowledge that the contributions were tainted.
U.S. Attorney Kerry Harvey says this case is a very important one for his office.
Cases like this, while they are unfortunate, send a very necessary message that when public servants fall short of that standard, their misconduct will be detected and they'll be prosecuted.
Hillary Thornton for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Longmire faces up to 10 years in prison. He will be sentenced August 18th.
New tonight, we're told one person is dead and 2 others injured after a head-on crash between a truck and a motorcycle in Lexington. It happened around 7:30 tonight on Old Richmond Road at Grimes Mill Road. Police say a truck crossed the center line and hit the motorcycle head-on. We're told 2 people were on the motorcycle. The driver was pronounced dead at the scene. The passenger on the motorcycle and the driver of the truck were both taken to UK hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The accident remains under investigation. Also in Lexington, police say 2 people were taken to UK hospital with serious injuries after being shot. Officers were called to Warnock Street tonight, where 2 people were shot inside a home. Police say one of the victims was shot in the abdomen, the other was shot in the leg. Their conditions are not known. Police say the shooter ran from the home and has not been found. They say the victims and the shooter do know each other. It was another gorgeous day in the bluegrass with warm temperatures and blue skies. Enjoy it while you can, because it looks as if rain may be heading our way. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us with an early look at the forecast.
Yeah, a little scattered stuff will come our way, guys. Later this week, the arrival on that, though, continues to slow down just a little bit. That's going to continue our string of 80-degree days into at least tomorrow. Late evening thermometers into the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. 70 into Richmond on the campus of EKU. 74 in southeastern Kentucky at Jackson. Morehead State University, not to be outdone by EKU. 73, that current temperature. 69 Lexington. Danville, the cool spot, similar to last night with a temperature into the low 60s. Your Fox radar picture, forget about it. Nothing out there again, though we did notice, as expected, a little more in the way of some clouds out there. To the west of us, big storm system continues to wrap up. And it is just slowly trudging its way out of the Rockies into the Plain States. And in doing so, that means tomorrow is warm yet again. How about the kiddos in the morning as we count down the days now? You can see the light at the end of the school year tunnel, can't you? 58 for the trip into school. Right around 80 with the teeny tiniest chance for a little popcorn shower or thunderstorm. Guys, hour-by-hour forecast, though, does get a little wetter as we get deeper into the week, and we'll break that down when I come back.
All right, thanks, Chris. Bluegrass Airport is adding another flight for passengers heading to the Big Apple. This summer, United Airlines will start offering nonstop flights from Lexington to the Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey. The airport is 14 miles from Manhattan. Flights will start July 1st. Customers can start booking flights now. Flights from Lexington to Newark will be on a 50-seat regional jet.
The Lexington Center plans to use its new stand-up metal detectors for more than just concerts. Today, the center announced people attending UK's graduation will be required to use the detectors. Graduation is May 8th at Rupp Arena. There are ceremonies at 9 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. People are asked to arrive early to allow time to get through the line. You're watching the Fox 56 10 o'clock news. The results are starting to come in from New York's primary election tonight. Coming up, we'll take a look at what's at stake.
And Baptist Health Lexington is helping pay tribute to organ donors with a unique display.
An evening of champions.
We'll tell you about it Wednesday at 7 on Fox 56.
For the first time in decades, New York's presidential primary matters to the outcome of the nomination process.
Donald Trump picked up a big win in his home state, winning the GOP primary. Democrats Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders also cast ballots in New York, each hoping for a win. Mary Maloney has the latest.
Donald Trump winning the New York Republican primary. Crowds flocked to the polls to cast ballots. Among them, 3 people running in the race. Donald Trump.
Who you voting for?
Easy decision.
Hillary Clinton.
I love New York.
And Bernie Sanders.
When we began this campaign, we were 60 points behind. And in the last couple of weeks, a few national polls have actually had us in the lead.
At stake, 247 Democratic and 95 Republican delegates. But the race is far from over. Ted Cruz is looking toward next week when 5 states in the Northeast will make their picks for president.
The nation is looking to Maryland to decide.
John Kasich's camp is fast-forwarding to July, focusing on the convention.
It's all about accumulating delegates going into the convention because now everybody has figured out that we're actually going to go to a competitive convention, an open convention.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Hillary Clinton has also been declared the winner there along with Donald Trump. As of this afternoon, Trump was leading the Republican nomination, 756 delegates, while Cruz had 559, Kasich had 144. 95 will be awarded tonight. And for the Democratic nomination, Hillary had 1,758, while Bernie Sanders had 1,076.
Baptist Health Lexington is helping pay tribute to organ donors. The Kentucky Organ Donor Affiliate's quilt was on display at the hospital on Nicholasville Road. The quilt honors those who have helped others through organ and tissue donation.
And I think basically people are good people here in Kentucky. We share. And isn't that really what organ donation is? Making that decision to share something with someone else.
The display is open from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow near the hospital's main cafeteria. There is also someone on hand to answer questions and help you sign up for the Kentucky Organ Donor Registry. You're watching Fox 56, your primetime news source. You can like us on Facebook at Fox Lexington.
Still to come, a Kentucky bird.
It's hard to stop a train.
Beautiful day in the books again across Kentucky. I'm not going to get tired of saying that. Our evening weather picture coming out of Georgetown up in Scott County from our Kentucky Weather Twitter feed. What a gorgeous sunset out there. A little bit of cloud cover adding some spice to our sky. Temperatures now compared to this same point last night. Numbers are exactly the same into Richmond, Lexington, Jackson, Prestonsburg. A few areas are upwards of 4 or 5 degrees warmer. Then we've got a location or two, London, Middlesboro, Maysville. Looking in your direction, that's you're 1 degree colder than at the same point last night. Basically, the story I'm trying to tell here is that temperatures right now and throughout the day today a carbon copy of what we had yesterday. Upper 60s to around 70, late evening thermometers. Your Fox radar picture across Kentucky, nada showing up. Let's go back to the west. A whole lot of nada out here as well. Big area of low pressure that is spinning across the plain states. Actually, showers, thunderstorms ramping up out ahead of that. Nice little curlicue, and it's a big upper level system that has been camping out across the Rockies, slowly working toward the east. The slower that bad boy is, the warmer we're going to be over the next few days. So numbers are likely to hit 80 again tomorrow across the entire region. So for the kids tomorrow afternoon, similar to today, maybe a degree cooler, but I don't think we'll complain too much about that. So the summer temps roll on, storm chances slowly increase, bigger changes coming down the road as we go into next week with those storm chances that come up. Low 80s tomorrow, that much of a chance. A few of us see a little popcorn shower or a thunderstorm. Did I say a popcorn thunderstorm? It's a summer pattern. You hear me say that a lot in June, July, or August, and that's kind of how it feels out there today. And it's going to feel that way again tomorrow as we push the low 80s tomorrow afternoon. Notice that one little band of some green here in northern Kentucky. That's the little popcorn shower or thunderstorm that can begin to blow up. Now we go into Thursday. Humidity levels are going to come up. By the afternoon, a shower or thunderstorm will likely come calling. Then as we go into Thursday night, Friday morning, potential is there for a few rounds of showers and storms. So remember I said that system is moving a little slower. That may mean we keep some of those showers and storms going into the day on Friday. This particular computer model run that we're looking at has been fluctuating. I get one run in where it doesn't show a whole lot of rain. I get another run that follows that up that shows something like this. Truth may be somewhere in between all of that, with at least some showers and thunderstorms around that will carry us, especially late Thursday and into Friday. Weekend still looks good, 73, 80. Early next week, we are warm and we're likely much more humid with a threat for some showers and some thunderstorms. Pattern is eventually going to flip to stormy over the next few weeks, guys, but in the short term, it's about as summer-like as you're ever going to find around here in the middle of April.
Yeah, no complaints from anyone I've talked to.
No, everybody's kind of loving it. My approval rating, since it's political season, my approval ratings are up this week compared to last week.
You know how quickly it can slide.
Oh, yeah, the bubble can burst quickly.
Kissing babies?
Yep.
Thanks, Chris. A Kentucky bourbon expert gets the national spotlight, and Kelly Ripa needs a new co-host.
It's all in tonight's Look Inside Entertainment.
A groundbreaker from Kentucky will appear on the Steve Harvey Show tomorrow. Marianne Barnes is the first woman to earn the title of Master Distiller of Kentucky Bourbon. She'll explain her unique job to Harvey and lead him in a taste test.
I can identify over 200 flavors in a glass of bourbon. So when I'm looking at a glass, I'm trying to pick out different notes. So there are sweet notes, spicy notes, wood notes, different fruit notes, but I can also pick out the bad stuff too, so the off notes that aren't supposed to be there.
Barnes is the master distiller for Castle and Key Bourbon. The show airs at 10 a.m. tomorrow here on Fox 56.
Former NFL star Michael Strahan is leaving his co-hosting gig on Live with Kelly and Michael, but he's not going far. Strahan will join the cast of Good Morning America full-time, where he's already been a contributor. GMA and Live are both under the ABC umbrella. No word yet on who might step in to co-host Live with Kelly Ripa.
Now that the Hunger Games are over, you can own a piece of them. Lionsgate and Profiles in History are teaming up for the World of the Hunger Games auction. More than 500 costumes, props, and set pieces are set to go on the auction block May 20th in California. That's tonight's Look Inside Entertainment.
Rescuers in Houston are trying to get to people trapped by flooding. Up next, how many people have been forced out of their homes because of the floods?
And the FBI hacked the phone of one of the San Bernardino shooters, but are investigators finding anything they can use? News Notes is next.
This portion of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, an appliance pro.
People in Houston continue to deal with deadly flooding.
That tops tonight's Fox 56 News Notes. Waters began rising after an estimated 1.5 feet of rain fell yesterday. Rescuers have been working around the clock to save people trapped in floodwaters. 5 people have died, including a woman whose car filled with water while she was in it.
Okay, cancer, this heart problem, all that I understand. But this, driving to high water in the middle of the city and there's nothing that could be done, it's a terrible loss.
400 people have been forced from their homes because of the floods. The Red Cross has opened shelters to care for them.
The death toll in Ecuador has reached 400, and the number is expected to continue rising. A powerful earthquake hit the country's Pacific coast last weekend. Rescuers from all over the world have come to help, and they have pulled a few survivors from the rubble. The Red Cross says as many as 5,000 people might need temporary shelter because their homes were destroyed.
The FBI says it is getting helpful information from a hacked iPhone. The phone belonged to one of the shooters in December's mass shooting in San Bernardino, California. Apple refused to help the FBI hack into the phone, but investigators eventually found a way.
Still to come on the Fox 56 10 o'clock news, officers hand out more than 100 citations at a college bar this weekend. We have details.
And a cardiologist's son remembers his father days after he was killed while riding his bike.
You're watching the Fox 56 10 o'clock news with Marvin Bartlett, Erica Abe, Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, and Brian Milam on sports.
A Richmond bar owner faces more than 100 charges. Police and the ABC raided the College Station bar over the weekend.
A search warrant was executed early Saturday morning, and as a result, the bar owner went to jail and several college students were charged. Monique Blair spoke to students who watched the scene unfold.
The College Station bar near EKU is well known on campus.
It's really disgusting. Like you have College Station shoes, so we call it, because it's so dirty in there. It's gross. Like it's just like a gross place.
It's known for holding fraternity parties, but early Saturday morning, the police department, the sheriff's office, and the Kentucky Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control executed a search warrant on the College Station bar.
We just kind of stared out here and just saw people coming in and out for hours.
According to this arrest citation, two bartenders, a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old, were serving alcohol and were also intoxicated.
They came in, turned the lights on, turned the music off, and made everyone line up.
The owner of the bar, Marion Robinson, was arrested along with 3 other people. But in addition to that, 109 people were given citations.
It was huge. Like almost all of my friends got them.
All 109 of those citations were given to minors. Robinson was charged with 1 count of license required to traffic in alcohol and also 109 counts of unlawful transaction with a minor. EKU student Emma Jordan was not at the bar the night of the raid, but she says word has traveled around campus, and she's not surprised to hear the owner got in trouble.
He's always there and he's always drinking and smoking a cigarette, just walking around, just smoking a cigarette with everyone. Like he doesn't care. He doesn't question you. Like the people working the front desk are fraternity people. They're not owners or anything.
In Madison County, Monique Blair for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Robinson has since been released from jail. Police have not said whether the College Station bar will be allowed to reopen.
Funeral arrangements are now set for a cardiologist killed in a crash over the weekend in Bourbon County. Dr. David Cassidy owned a private practice on Harrisburg Road while working at St. Joe Hospital in Lexington. His son tells us Cassidy moved to Lexington in 1990 after he served in the Army. Cassidy was riding his bicycle on Lexington Road in Paris when he was hit by an SUV.
He loved being outdoors on it and just on the roads, biking. He was training for a 100-mile bike race down in Tennessee next month. How many people in their 60s can do that?
Dr. Cassidy's funeral will be held on Friday morning at 11 at Christ Church Cathedral. There will be a reception from 12 to 2 at the Hunt Morgan House.
State police are investigating after they found a body in a burned southern Kentucky home. Troopers say the man's body was found inside the home along Maiden Bend Spur Road in Whitley County Monday morning. They believe the fire happened sometime late Sunday into Monday, but there are no witnesses. The body hasn't been identified, but neighbors believe the victim is the man who lived in the home.
I'd worked over and done his driveway, grading his driveway and stuff, and talked to him a little bit. And he was telling me about his situation living over there, you know, and everything. So, I mean, he was a good guy.
An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. The cause of the fire is also unknown. New information about a 2-year-old found dead in the back of an SUV at a Louisville school. An autopsy shows the boy died of hypothermia. A staff member at Gudermuth Elementary School noticed Levante Swain in an SUV in the carpool lane yesterday. Police say he'd been in the vehicle for 4 hours and a daycare employee was driving. He was given CPR but died at the scene. The National Weather Service says the temperature at the time was 83 degrees. So far, no charges have been filed.
A semi carrying a load of brand new Mercedes SUVs turned over this morning. The crash closed Highway 36, 10 miles west of Cynthiana. It took hours to clear the crash because flatbed trucks had to be brought in to haul away the SUVs. Deputies say it's not a good highway for semis to travel.
This road's terrible for semis. It's just too curvy. Obviously, if you're going to operate on this road, you need to be extremely careful. But like I said, fortunately, he's okay.
The semi was headed to I-75 when it crashed. The driver was not injured.
She needed help getting around. Last month, we told you about a Menifee County shelter raising money to get a wheelchair for a two-legged dog.
The chair arrived last week, and this week, Shay, a chocolate lab mix, was finally able to get into it. Jennifer Palumbo has the story.
Inside this animal shelter, there are plenty of dogs looking for a home. They're looking for attention, but right now, this one is getting all the love. And there's a good reason.
You gonna get to go out again? Most of the time she sits like this.
This chocolate lab named Shay tries her best to get around on two legs. Back in February, Shay ran away from her owners, got lost in the woods, and fractured both her legs. They would later be amputated.
People all over the United States, within 24, 48 hours, donated enough money to pay her vet bill and to pay for the wheelchair.
That's right, a wheelchair for a pooch.
Okay. All right, are you ready?
To people, this is a field of dreams. To Shay, she just wants to play in a field. Look at her go as she rounds third base.
Come on.
Renee Nicholas and Diana McGuire work at the Menifee County Animal Shelter. At times, they wondered if getting this wheelchair was the right decision for Shay. But after seeing her roll away, these two handlers feel great about it.
As you can see, she just is a happy dog.
She even has fans.
Come on, Shay. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for the kisses. She is just an outgoing dog that loves people, loves kids, loves other animals. She just loves life. This way, Shay.
It looks like Shay just got a second leash on life. Jennifer Palumbo, the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Shay's wheelchair came from Massachusetts. It cost about $700. Americans are living longer, but not necessarily better. Up next, what new research says about the years in our life and the life in our years.
Then the northern lights look great from the ground, but wait until you see how they look from above.
It's a great way to celebrate this year.
News is brought to you by the Ford Motor Company.
Living longer, curbside service, and the northern lights from a different angle.
Here are 5 things to know before you go to bed. Americans are living longer, but those extra years may include poor health or a disability. University of Southern California researchers say the average lifespan increased more than 9 years for men and about 6.5 years for women between 1970 and 2010. At the same time, the number of years lived with a disability rose about 4 years for both men and women. Study authors say we could be increasing the length of poor quality life more than good quality life.
CVS is launching a new curbside pickup service. The company says customers will be able to order items with a mobile app and have them delivered right to their vehicle. CVS Express will come without any markups. The service will be available immediately at stores in California, North Carolina, and Georgia, and at most other U.S. locations by year's end.
Target is raising the minimum wage for its workers to $10 an hour. The pay increase follows a similar move by Walmart recently. It reflects an improving labor market and more competition among retailers for lower-wage hourly workers that gained steam last year.
YouTube will start live streaming 360-degree videos. 360 gives users a full view of big moments, of things like sporting events and musical festivals. YouTube has already tested 360 views, but never live video. Users can put the new live view to use this weekend when YouTube live streams some Coachella Music Festival performances in 360.
NASA has released stunning footage of the Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis shot from the International Space Station. The 5-minute clip features time-lapse shots in ultra-high definition. The auroras occur when electrically charged subatomic particles collide with neutral atoms in the upper atmosphere. There you go, 5 things to know before you go to bed. We've been enjoying a daytime light show all week. Sunny, blue skies.
Beautiful. But will that continue tomorrow? Let's get the latest from Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Why, yes, it will. Thank you for asking. And right back to you. Yeah, it's pretty much that simple as we go through the next couple of days. We keep the mild and warm temperatures. We're going to be tomorrow into the upper 70s, low 80s again. We were low 80s today, low 80s yesterday, near 80 Sunday. So for some of us, it may be 4 days in a row of 80-degree temperatures. Right now, that cold thermometer in Mount Sterling, down in the valley, 59 degrees, 72 Moorhead, 69 into Lexington. Cold air tends to pool into those sheltered valleys. 69 degrees, Lexington. The humidity for this late in the evening, 45% is very, very low. We've been struggling with the dry air over the past couple of days. That humidity has been bone dry for the past 3 or 4 days. That will change eventually as our flow becomes southwesterly ahead of this bowling ball of a low pressure that is out across the plain states. Now, as that inches closer to us, especially as we go into late Thursday and Friday, we'll see at least a scattered shower or thunderstorm coming our way. Is it going to rain the entire time on any one day on this 7-day forecast? Likely no, it will not. We go into the weekend, looks good. 73 Saturday, Sunday's pushing 80. We go into next week, guys, humidity levels really will bounce up for most of the week. We'll go into a more typical late April brand of air if my voice will hold out for me.
Come on, Chris, hold out on us. On the way, we hear from UK quarterback Drew Barker as he breaks down his performance after the spring game this weekend.
And it was an instant classic between UK and U of L on the diamond tonight. Brian Milam has the incredible action in the Fox 56 Sports Extra.
Of the 10 o'clock news is brought to time now for the Fox 56 Sports Extra.
UK and U of L have played some classics in football, basketball, and tonight's baseball matchup can rank right at the top with some of those thrillers in any era. Let's go to Jim Patterson Stadium in Louisville. First inning, the Wildcats get on the board. Kentucky's leading hitter, Zach Rex, hits it a ton right off the wall. Evan White scores to make it 1-0. Rex with a double. Now up 2-0 in a play you may never see again in your life. The ball is popped to shallow right. UK second baseman Luke Becker goes out. Tristan Pompey comes in. They collide. And look at Storm Wilson. What a play. That's a top 10 worthy catch. We move to the 7th. UK up 4-1, make it 5-1. Storm Wilson delivers the RBI single to right. Marcus Carson scores. UK seems to be in control. In the Louisville half of the 7th, things get close in a hurry. The Cardinals' Corey Ray powers a shot to the deepest part of the park. That's a 2-run homer. Ray's 11th on the year, 5-4 Kentucky. 2 batters later, Brendan McKay, a towering shot to right. Marcus Carson is tracking it. He's only 5'7". He robs him of a home run, and the inning is over. UK helps the Louisville cause in the 8th. Tying run at third, Sean Jelly throws a wild pitch. A run scores. We're tied at 6-6. We go to the 9th. Former Tates Creek Commodore, Mr. Baseball, Devin Hairston, jumps on the first pitch he sees from Zach Strecker, hits it up the middle. We have a play at the plate, and Colin Lyman beats the throw by inches, and they mob Hairston on the field. Louisville wins in walk-off fashion. Final score, 7-6. Reds and Rockies going at it again in Cincinnati and tied 1-1 in the second. Billy Hamilton sends one down the left field line. Jay Bruce, Tyler Holt score, 3-1 Reds. Then Zach Cozart, base hit to score Hamilton. It's 4-1. On the mound, Robert Stevenson pitched 7 innings of 3-hit baseball in only his second major league start, and Cincinnati hangs on to win it by the score of 4-3.
This is his second major league start.
Hi there. Mark Stoops naming Drew Barker his starting quarterback after Saturday's spring game, and Barker has to feel good about how he performed. The redshirt sophomore throwing a couple of touchdown passes, one to C.J. Conrad and the other this 64-yard strike that was on the money to Ryan Timmons. Timmons going into his senior year and looking for better things this fall.
I like Timmons a lot because, last year, he kind of beat himself up a lot over the offseason, everything about his season last year. So I feel like his confidence is at an all-time high right now. So that was good to see him have a big, explosive play like that. But, obviously CJ, like I've been saying all spring, he's been a great target in the red zone for us. So, and it's going to continue to be like that. I mean, he's just a beast. So it's awesome to throw to guys like that.
Barker also threw an interception on the day. This pass to the sidelines intended for Jabari Greenwood was picked off by Jared Tucker. Barker just described it as a bad throw.
That was a bad throw. It was just a bad read. Right when I threw it, I knew it was probably going to get intercepted. So I definitely would like to have that one back. There's probably a couple of throws I'd like to have back. But, you know, Coach Hinshaw, Coach Grant, their motto is a white piece of paper mentality. You just got to flip the page, keep going. I mean, I was mad at myself for doing it because right when I threw it, I knew it was going to be a bad pass. But, you know, I just flipped the page and just I think the 2-minute drill or whatever was the next drive. So I just tried to build off that, and we ended on a touchdown, so that was good.
Now, if you went to the UK Blue-White game over the weekend, you were able to get a look at the Cats' new offense installed by Eddie Grand. Now, you didn't see the tempo in which Grand will expect to run this fall, but he says the entire offense can run fast. But this is how Grand explains what he's put in to get the offense going and get points on the board.
The biggest thing is that we're using multiple sets, multiple formations, and we're changing that up. And it's still a power run game. Still play action pass out of the pistol, and then you have the opportunity to throw the ball down the field. I think what separates us is that we're looking for explosive plays down the field instead of just dink and dunk all the time. There is a time and place for that, but we're trying to create explosive plays vertically, stretch the field out 53 yards plus, and make them defend it.
Now to basketball, LSU guard Antonio Blakeney is not going to the NBA draft. Will return for his sophomore season. Blakeney was named to the All-SEC freshman team, started 24 games for the Tigers, averaging 12.5 points, 3.5 rebounds. Kevin Knox, 5-star small forward out of Tampa, Florida, now has an offer from John Calipari. Calipari made an in-home visit last night. Knox goes 6'8", 195. Depending on which recruiting service you look at, he is rated either the 6th or 7th best player in the country. He is being pursued by the likes of North Carolina, Duke, and Florida State. UConn women's basketball coach Gino Auriemma been released from the hospital. He was admitted Saturday with an undisclosed ailment. The 62-year-old Auriemma boarded a plane Saturday, but decided to deplane because he was not feeling well. Illness forced Auriemma to miss the victory parade for that NCAA championship in Hartford. The Phoenix Suns have finalized a multi-year deal to make Earl Watson the franchise's head coach. Watson took over for Jeff Hornacek during the 2016 season, going 9-24 during his time. Watson will be coaching 4 former Wildcats: Devin Booker, Eric Bledsoe, Archie Goodwin, and Brandon Knight. Also in the NBA playoffs last night, hey, that's loud. Steph Curry not able to go for Golden State after tweaking his ankle in Game 1. As it turned out, they didn't need him against Houston. Klay Thompson spins into the lane, and goes up and under. Golden State up by 6 in the third, then of the fourth. Andre Iguodala in transition, and the Warriors are up 2 games to love, winning 115-106. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Lori, anyplace else? Well, it looks like warm is giving way to wet.
Eventually, but that's a good thing. We're behind in the rainfall category so far this spring, so we need to do a little makeup work. Best chance comes late Thursday into Friday. Even there, guys, I'm not sensing a washout day just yet. Temperatures tomorrow, low 80s, mid to upper 70s. Thursday, low 70s. Friday, every number for those highs through the next 7 days, a little above where we should be. And with the 80s, that's a lot above where we should be. Tomorrow, in many cases, will be 3 or 4 days in a row, depending on where you are, of 80 degrees or better.
Yeah, and the second great weekend in a row.
Yeah, weekend continues to look good. Next week's pattern into first week of May, you know what that week is? It's Derby week. It could get a little stormy as of now. We'll see.
As long as it's not cold, you know?
That's true. No cold right now.
Good.
All right, thanks for being with us. Hope you're back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock.
Have a great evening.
Honey.